Hey everyone, my name is Mike Aubrey. I'm one of the technical evangelists on the Fusion 360 team. Today I'm going to share with you a tip on how to make your wooden parts look all the more authentic within Fusion. And what we'll be digging into is ways to use the texture mapping capabilities of Fusion along with some advanced material edits. So at the core, what we're looking at here is how to make wood look more authentic. So Mr. Paul Deo's chair here, this is the super comfy chair. You can see has a really nice continuous wood grain across the top, and that it just looks really good. It looks comfortable. It looks authentic. Off the default, if you guys have applied just a wood texture to any of your parts, you probably will have seen something that maybe looks a little bit more like this. And you see the difference. You can see that on the top here, these faces aren't really in line with this face, and as a result, it just doesn't look real. It doesn't look authentic. And the difference between the two is just a right click away. So on each body, if you just go and highlight that body here in the browser, right below the appearance, which is where you would apply wood, there is this second option called texture mapping. And so what texture mapping allows you to do is you can say, take those textures and choose how they are mapped over that body. And so automatic does its best. You can see it's got some things right, some things wrong. But you have all these other options like planar, box, sphere. So you can choose basically the rough shape of what resembles, and then it'll make it so that the material will be mapped over it like that. So sphere is the one I chose here. Sphere and cylindrical make usually the most sense for these more organic-y shapes. So if I choose sphere, and then I give it an axis on, imagine that this sphere is like a globe where it's got an axis that it's on. If you just choose like say the red axis here, you can see now that like along the edges that that's the direction now that all the wood grains are being oriented along. If I choose the green axis right here, you can see now everything is moving up. And actually, I think that one looks the best, and that's the one I'm going to go with. So that's how you go and you apply all these things, whether it be sphere, cylindrical, planar. Choose an edge or an axis, and that's how, along with the body, and that's how you will make it so that the materials look, all the more authentic. So there we are. I think that looks like a pretty comfy chair. Let me give you another example with a simpler one, a little more organic, just a wood block right here. So here's another good example of just you can see where the knots are. Like they start lining up. So, and you can totally get them to line up. So like here's a good look at what the finished product looks like. And the way we're going to do this is actually through a mixture of both using the texture mapping controls and some advanced material edits. So just real quick, what you can see in this appearance is actually I have a series of different wooden materials that I've applied actually to this guy to make that happen. And let me show you how I did it. I started off by going into my texture mapping controls to get enough of it in line that I could work with it. So actually this box, because it looks a lot like a box, is the one I chose. And if you actually choose it, you can kind of click on it a couple times and it'll give you a couple different options. And I like this one because you can see this face, this face, this face, and this face. These are all basically correct. It's just these guys that I got to change. And that guy actually looks pretty good. I'm not even going to bother with him. But these two need to be changed to really look real. And so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my appearance, just right click, go to appearance, and then I'm going to take the material that was applied to it, and I'm going to duplicate it. So I'm going to just duplicate this guy, and then I'm going to apply that material rather than say to the whole body. I'm going to apply it to the face. So this is going to be the face that I'm going to change first. So, and then I'm going to right click on it, I'm going to edit it. Now you got a couple different options here with scales, rotations, roughnesses, whatnots. The the change I make with these types of situations, I'm just trying to clean up the mapping. I've found more often than not, actually, it's mostly just a rotational challenge. So, like a lot of times, you can see as I rotate this thing, you see that knot that just got pulled around. Well, that's the same knot that's right here, and it's just an orientation thing. So if I go actually from 0 to 180, I can actually clean up a lot of these things really fast. So here I got this guy, and it's right where I need it to be. Now I just go and I just put it into the right place. So if I go to advanced, I can change the positional representation of this image that's being projected onto the face. Looks like just by going edit image, and then you can see under your offset options here, I can start moving things into place. So I'll just kind of pick a spot. I'll just say like go one. See now it's moving down. I can go with my scroll wheel. I can do little micro adjustments. See how it just kind of baby steps. I think that's too slow for here, so I'm going to say something maybe two. Let's go maybe four. Four. Let's try that. Yeah, there we go. That looks good. We'll leave that guy into place. And so that's really all I'm doing here. So you can go and you just do it on the top one, and the same thing, and before you know it, you guys will have a really nice looking wooden part like that. So in conclusion, what we've looked at today is that we looked at being able to use the texture mapping controls to get things looking a little bit more continuous across different faces, and then we also used the appearances section to apply specific custom materials to specific faces that weren't quite lining up, and we changed around the offsets and the orientation to make it so they line up. So with that, I hope you guys get a lot of really good use out of it and you make some really awesome looking wooden parts. Take care.